the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. All together now, let's begin. Let the show begin.
Nice one. Show me your money. Show me your wallets. Hello, everybody. As I often say when I get to host this panel, it's time to talk about the money. Who likes money? Anyone? Everyone? All right, we're here to talk about it. I am often quoted in the sort of history of WiT as saying that everybody who is in travel has to be a fintech company. And I've often also said in the history of WiT that Agoda was an accidental fintech company. I can tell you right now we're a very deliberate fintech company, that in the OTA space, if you make a mistake in the way you pay people, you hurt your cash flows, you make a mistake in the amount of money you're paying in merchant fees, you can destroy your bottom line. If you can save 10 basis points, you can make the year. So we're here to talk about how all that flows around Asia Pacific. I've got 3 fantastic representatives with me to talk about it. So let's start by setting the scene. Kelvin, how are we doing in the travel industry? Set the scene for us. And Financial, one of the biggest financial players in the world. Set the scene for us for what's going on in payments and how travel is doing.
Okay. Firstly, this is one of the largest sector that we are serving. I still remember last year here in the same stage, there is one guest speaker saying payment is actually one of the largest cost items of an OTA or player in the travel industry. He quoted it's actually even higher than the distribution cost they're paying. For example, they're paying credit card company, acquirers, payment orchestrators, banks, foreign exchange, everything. So I think today, I think the panel is going to share a bit about how we're going to innovate this, allow you to reduce the cost and optimize cost payment as not only a cost factor, probably can become a contributor to your revenue and profit.
Nakul, if you were to give us a score out of 10 in the travel industry for how we're doing in payments, do we get a 10, a 6, a 7, a 2, a 3? What do you reckon?
So I would say in B2C space, the score would be a little higher.
Yes.
Let's say 8 or 9.
Yes.
But on the B2B side, the score will be a little less, 6 to 7.
So what's that gap? What's missing in B2B?
Yeah, so
payments?
in B2C, there have been a lot of advancements when it comes to payments for travel. Like OTAs or airlines, they have adopted, let's say, local payment methods. They are giving customers their choice of payments across their countries. They are taking care of security when you are doing some sensitive card transactions and all. But when it comes to B2B payment, still we are lagging behind on the payment scene. So still the transactions are happening on plain card numbers. It's a very complex situation because many of the payments are happening offline in opposite of having it online. So yeah, the score and the experience-wise, the score is a little lower in B2B side.
Yeah. Ken, how do you think we're doing in the travel industry as a payments? Are we doing well or we're struggling?
Yeah, they're doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing very well. And wait, travel company is going to fintech area.
Yes.
Right. Because I believe that because the travel is kind of experiencing all about experiencing new cultures and food and attractions. But so the travel industry must need to offer more than booking hotels, activities, and transportations. It's all about giving people a chance to experience life the way locals do. For example, enjoying street food at the night market and using the same payment methods as locals do is a kind of part of fun. So I think there's a room to go more.
Yeah. One of the other things we see sort of in quasi-travel, but certainly in Asia-Pacific and payments is everybody wants to be a payment company and they sort of start with some sort of high frequency and move into it. All the ride-hailing guys, GrabPay have moved into it. We see this a lot. Kakao has moved into payments. Lines moved into payments. They all end up in payments. Nakul, starting with you, why is that? Why is everybody into payments? Isn't it a specialist skill or is it something that we're comfortable that everyone's just going to get into at some point?
Because I think that the people have a big pain point for, they must use 4 or 5 applications to get finished, travel. bookings, and then transportation, translation, and payment. Travel companies should aim to provide a seamless experience
Yeah.
within one application.
Yeah.
Payments are especially important because they can complete every part of travel process. So travel companies want to equip payment function.
Yeah.
That's why travel companies are getting to look more like fintech company, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct.
Nakul, what have you got? Yeah.
Yeah, so typically if you see payments is a low margin business.
Right.
Payments and fintechs and all are a low margin business. So it's very counterintuitive. Why would anyone want to become want to enter into payment space, right? But if you see payments is the first step for a company to become like a fintech company. And if you have very high interacting users, you want to capture your users at every touch points wherever the customers are using your app. So the first step is to control your payments or control the end-to-end payment experience. And typically, companies can partner with some payment orchestration providers like ourselves to handle the end-to-end payments. Once you have handled your payments or once you have taken control over your payments, now you get like a lot of data through which you can get some insights into the customer behavior. And then you can partner with, let's say, you can increase your revenue streams, right? You can partner with insurance providers to give insurance. You can partner with fintechs to give BNPLs, credit cards, increase affordability.
Yeah.
So yeah, payments is the first step for a company to, in a long process, to become like a proper fintech company.
Let's do a quick glossary check. You mentioned the word payment orchestration. That might be new to people in the audience. What is this word of the moment, payment orchestration? Quickly.
Yes, so very briefly, payment orchestration. For a company who are into a different domain compared to payments, it's very difficult for them to manage their end-to-end payments. So Juspay works with companies across the world, just like their payments team, and handle, for example, we handle the payment integrations for the merchant. We develop the checkout experience for the merchant. We help them optimize or reduce their transaction cost, improve the conversion rates, streamline their payment operations. So whatever your payments team does within a company, Juspay does it for our merchants in a much better way.
So, Kelvin, Nakul mentioned something interesting there about you sort of start with payments where you make not a lot of money on, and then you make your way into credit. Is that what you're seeing too? Is that the journey you get on as a payment company?
Yeah, that's actually part of our growth journey. So yeah, you enter into payment, you actually get the basic payment functions. Through that, you actually would be able to accumulate a customer system.
Yes.
You have the ID of each customer, and behind it, you actually have a lot of data. So how many spendings they're going to do? Are they buying like a $5 coffee or $1 coffee, right? And then how frequently do they travel? Through that, you can build up a financial service behind it. For example, you can do asset side on lending.
Yes.
On credit, on buy now, pay later. And you can also do liability side on the wealth management so that you can actually distribute them relevant wealth management product according to their needs. That's our journey.
Right. So that leads very interesting because I wanted to do what I call the 3 hot topics of fintech for 2024. And they are embedded finance, payment roaming, and open banking. And then we've just sort of started on this first one, embedded finance. So for those who know, embedded finance are examples where non-financial companies get sort of into financial services. And the classic example is the Starbucks prepaid card, where Starbucks has billions of dollars in payments stored in its car, or Uber has been helping its drivers set up bank accounts to get paid for. So maybe we start with you, Nakul. What are you seeing in travel? Is embedded finance a hot topic in travel, or is it for other sectors like coffee and cars?
Definitely, it's a hot topic amongst all the travel and OTA players, because if you think from a macro perspective, travel and OTA is a very competitive industry. And you need to ensure that your customers do not move out of your ecosystem.
Yes.
So let's say you are on an OTA or a travel website, right? You are booking some travel tickets. Why not give them some affordability options like pay later or credit card, and ask them to sign up some hotel bookings also. Once you have done hotel booking, why not sign up with a why not partner with a issuer, give a co-branded credit card and ask them to book a tour package with you.
Yes.
Or why not partner with some fintechs or some insurance providers and provide you medical or travel insurance?
Yeah.
So if you see, it's a like you just need to capture your audience or your customers so that they don't move out of your ecosystem. And there are like a lot of companies who are doing or creating this in travel space. Back in India, there is a Tata Group, right, which powers Air India. So they have a super app where they do everything, right from travel booking, insurance, fintech, you name it, grocery delivery, everything is in the same app. This part of the world, AirAsia has developed this AirAsia Move super app, which is again doing the same thing. So yeah, people are moving into that ecosystem where they are building a complete, like a chamber for their customers to provide all the necessary things for our customer.
Yeah. I saw some startups working on products like Pay Now, Travel Later, where you contribute money over the course of a few months to the wallet. You're storing your money with the travel company, who therefore gets all the benefits of holding the interest, and for that you get some discount on a future purchase, kind of as a deposit product. Kelvin, what do you think about it?
Instead of focusing on the micro-lending credit part, we recently on embedded finance focused on one key topic, which is related to foreign exchange. This is actually to address the market, which you said the rating is relatively lower with B2B. Okay, so when you do cross-border travel, everybody will face foreign exchange.
Yes.
When you buy air tickets, when you pay for your hotel expenses, and we enabled merchants like airlines, like hotel groups and OTAs, to accept multiple currencies from a product called the MCP, multi-currency pricing.
Yes.
Basically, if you price the hotel here in Singapore dollar, we allow customers in India to pay local currency, people from Europe to pay euro, and Koreans to pay KRW. So to do this, some of the bank has already offered this service to a very small, limited number of very large airlines.
Yes.
But this actually a product can be enabled to many other smaller participants of budget airlines or OTAs to allow you to sell to more people around the globe. And behind it, we use some AI technology to lower the cost. And secondly, we also enable this to link with the membership of airlines, allow them to have, for example, if you are a platinum member, you get more favorable exchange rate. Well, if you are new customer come in or kind of a lower tier, you probably pay a moderate FX rate. So this allows us to go together with the membership program to dynamically manage your customers. So yeah.
That's nice to get onto roaming. Let's do hot topic number 2, which is payment roaming. I'm going to bring Ken back in. Ken's company, GLN, is a startup in Korea that enables Koreans with a bank account in Korea to travel to Thailand and pay using local banking methods in Thailand. So you can QR code for noodles in Thailand and have a direct draw out of your Korean bank account. So tell us about payment roaming and what it can mean for getting us out of credit cards and into local payment methods.
Yeah, payment roaming is, I believe, a fantastic concept. People traveling for leisure, work, education, or medical reasons want to use same financial services abroad as they do at home. This ability to make payment across border without hassle is what we can call payment roaming. As I mentioned before, using same payment method as locals do is part of travel experience. Just like trying the local food. This experience drive up payment activity. GLN customers make over 20 more QR payment transactions per person during 3 or 4 days. 4-day trip, yeah. They see payment as a part of the travel experience. GLN focuses on making this possible by allowing travelers to use their usual wallets to pay abroad. Koreans can use any 8 biggest Korean wallets they use to make payment with Thailand, TakeQR, VietQR, Vietnam, KHQR, Cambodia, and Laos, Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Mongolia, United States, including 11 countries and regions. While it looks easy on the surface, it takes a lot of hard work behind the scenes. We need managing foreign exchange. We should follow the regulations like AML, anti-money laundering, and handle risk involved with money moving. Building strong partnership with the local financial institutions and regulatory governments is also an important part. This is why our company spun off from Hana Bank, one of the largest FX house in Korea and Asia.
Excellent. And Nakul, you're also doing a lot of work in local payment methods. What's your views on sort of how we get Vietnamese travelers able to use their local methods in other parts of Southeast Asia and so forth?
Typically whenever you ask any travel companies what are the major problems when it comes to payment costs, right? First answer will be cross-border card transactions, highest fees.
Yes.
So for countering that, I guess every country is now opening up the scene. They are creating these kind of account-to-account based payment methods, which you can do either via QR code or via your bank app.
Yes.
Now every country has its own kind of account-to-account based payment method, like rightly pointed out. Now, as a next step in the evaluation is how we can interconnect all these payment methods across countries. So yeah, it involves like a lot of moving parts. Government across the scales are working to interconnect these local payment methods or QR codes, account-to-account payment methods within the country, so that at least once a local customer, he's going to some other country, he can just scan QR code from his home bank app and do a payment in some other country. A lot of moving parts, but yeah, we are definitely moving in the right direction. I would say right now the solution is not that mature, but let's say in coming 1 or 2 years, we will see that a lot of corridors like India-Singapore or Singapore-Dubai or India-Thailand, people would be able to use these local payment methods or account-to-account payment methods very seamlessly within countries.
Excellent. All right, let's get to hot topic number 3, which is open banking. So open banking is where you can access banking and financial data of an individual with consent that is fed to a third-party app to do something interesting. So imagine if you had a budgeting app, and the budgeting app could draw on your credit card data, your banking data, your spending patterns, and do something. Kelvin, you're and financials across a whole bunch of things. Is open banking of interest to the travel industry? Is it something that could happen there?
Sure. So we use open banking to get more people or more customers to connect it to a real-time payment system.
Right.
You know, currently about 70 countries has built local fast payment systems, right? Which allow local-to-local payment experience become real-time, instant, 7/24 services. But when you go cross-border, none of these features exists.
Yes.
So what we are trying to do is to connect with all the RTPs or fast payments of each country and use a payment engine in between, cross-border payment engine in between, powered by blockchain, to allow cross-border payment could be done instantly, could be done 7/24, could be done with transparencies and lower cost. So this is one thing we want to enable more and more customers to be able to use real-time payment cross-border.
All right. So all those 3 hot topics, if you're keeping track in the audience, that's open banking, payment roaming, and embedded finance. These are the things we've all got to put some teams on here in travel. All right, let's pivot to innovation and startups. Each of you, very quickly, what are you watching in fintech from a startup perspective or innovation perspective that's got you really excited? Nakul, we'll start with you.
I'm really watching some of the companies in cross-border space.
Yes.
Because as I mentioned, cross-border, we know payment fees are high, but why it is high, no one knows. It's completely like a black box for all of us, other than the people who are working in the cross-border space. For them also, it's to an extent a black box kind of a situation. So I am really looking or following companies like Niam, TazaPay, who are into cross-border space. One more interesting thing, right? So we have been talking about travel companies moving into fintech, right? But in India, Juspay has built a platform basically wherein we have moved from being a fintech company to a travel company, right? So we have built like a cab ride-hailing app called Namma Yatri, which is kind of competitor to Uber. And the unique point is that in Uber, we have been hearing that there is a lot of commissions that it's being charged, so there has been a lot of negative publicity around it. So for Nammayatri, what we did was we reduced the commission. Let's say a rider who is riding the cab, he can just directly pay to the driver through an account-to-account based payment method.
Yeah.
So this is also like an interesting concept that we have been doing in India, and interesting to follow this kind of like a movement from fintech to travel industry as well.
Yeah. Ken, your turn. You're obviously one of the great startups in this space, but what's another startup you're looking at that's really interesting? Who else has caught your attention that's doing interesting things in fintech and travel?
I'm always GLN. My company is very interesting. Because we started as a payment company, global payment company, but finally we are interested in travel.
Yes.
So we are providing hotel informations.
Right.
Yeah, we are curious about the booking on my applications, and booking flights and pay in my applications.
Yes.
Maybe we can be a competitor of Agoda someday.
Yeah. And Kelvin, your turn. What's a startup that's got your attention?
Firstly, we still call ourselves.
I was going to say maybe Ant Financial is the largest startup on planet Earth.
Okay. Yeah. There are a few areas that we look quite positive for startups. There are areas people are normally ignored in terms of optimizing their payment experience to customers and the cost structure of payments. The first one is alternative payment method.
Yes.
A lot of times, like Ken introduced, if you move from card or traditional payment method to QR code, the cost could be 1/3 or even 20% to the merchant compared to the traditional payment method. The second one I mentioned is foreign exchange. It's normally a hidden area which actually is very, very expensive to a lot of operators in the cross-border travel industry. The third area is the payment efficiency. By use more real-time payment experience, you can actually reduce the working capital you need to support the particular size of business, which will allow you to turn over in a large scale, actually turn over your capital much faster.
All right, we've given everybody a hell of a lot to digest. We've talked through the general state of payments. We've covered the top 3 hot topics: embedded finance, payment roaming, open banking. We've now touched on what startup innovation is going. In our final minutes, I want to do what I call the Monday morning advice. These people have heard a lot. When it gets back to their office on Monday morning, 9 a.m., what are some of the immediate things they should be doing to improve payments at a travel company? Very quickly, Kelvin, you first. What's your Monday morning advice?
My advice is to spend more time with your customers and with your partners.
Yes.
To sit down and go into use cases. A lot of innovation is actually within use cases itself.
Yeah. Ken, what's your Monday morning advice for the travel industry?
Fintech is a business based on technology. So you should keep eyes on the technology and trend change.
Yeah. And Nakul, you get the final words. What's your Monday morning advice for travel companies and getting into fintech?
Okay, I won't say that all the travel companies should become fintech, because then we will lose our jobs. But yeah, every company should think consciously about evolving their payment processes. And the first part is to observe your customer data, observe how your customers are paying, and then consciously develop a strategy of evolving your payment processes.
All right, well, I think I've given you guys a lot to digest on. There's a lot of money to be made in travel, a lot of money to be saved in travel with fintech. Will you give a round of applause, please, to our panel members, Nakul, Ken, and Kelvin. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Right, they're ready now. Let the show begin. Next generation for the win.